I do feel like they are leaning into their strengths with this composition, which is nice to see. Obviously, Yeta back on that Cypher as well. I think Zeus being on the waylay is someone that we need to keep an eye on here. How quickly has Crossdelay and Zeus been able to build up that synergy, given that Crossdelay is the newest addition to the roster?
And then on Fnatic's side, a completely new look here. Like, KO, not an agent I usually consider when I look at Fnatic. No Yoru, a Jet instead, so you're going to get that KO and Jet combination. And then unfortunately, Alpha is still stuck in poor old Santiago on that Vice, going to be trying to anchor and lock down those sites.
It do be like that sometimes, but also I think from when we're looking at this, the complete switch up from FUT side of things, even though they've played it last week. And from Fnatic, we haven't really seen them play it yet in Kickoff, so I think for both of these rosters kind of going into it potentially a little bit more blind.
I mean, Fnatic will do their homework a little bit, but ultimately know that because they haven't had to come out with a playbook yet, they can mostly focus on the game. So what we see from Fnatic here will be whatever they've been working on, I think, in the past.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's intriguing that they've gone for that double initiator composition. I'm really looking forward to seeing Vikaj perform on that KO, because I think last week, even though they didn't end up winning, he was a kind of shining light, and we all know, even from last year, new players coming into this Fnatic roster, they're scrutinized so heavily when they come into this roster, and I hope that he can continue the performance that he had last week.
Yeah, we're gonna see whether or not that plays out, but most importantly, we're gonna have to ask our casters as well whether or not they are excited for seeing a FUT with a KO, sticking to their identity in that kind of sense. But we're ready to head into our first map, Abyss, with Pansy and Hypok.
Well, as you can tell, I'm praying for the matter. Thought I'd turn up in
Oh, I see. Yeah, the big Dibley. Yeah, good cosplay.
Yeah. Saintly, I've been called in the past. However, I'm a bit worried here, Michael, because I don't quite have faith in this Fnatic yet, right? Like, and I think the first series kind of compounded that problem, right? I think it's hard to ignore it, but it's a very different opponent, but also some similarities, obviously, with FUT.
I mean, thinking about this series today, almost ahead of time was thinking, I don't really care about the veto all that much. I also don't really care if there's any changes. For me, I kind of want to tap into something Minnie was kind of hinting at, which is there's very few points in the last 5 or 6 years where we've asked Fnatic to kind of go back to basics.
Sure.
And I think that is the headline, right? It was the overcomplication of some of the aspects of the game versus BBL. Absolutely agree with that. Are they going to be given the same chance against... Well, FUT have a huge opportunity, actually, to tap into something that Fnatic clearly struggled with.
Yeah, Zeus also been a name for himself, and Kayak on the other side. Always such a lovely little comparison between the two of such heavy hitters coming up through the scene. Kayak has taken vast majority of at least that portion of sight. However, FUT really not wanting to give up too much, but it is Alpha to get the thing... Well, get the ball rolling, really.
Get the thing going.
Get the thing going. And it's a bit of a stall here from Fnatic, just pausing, waiting for that util to cycle through, and lovely. Very diligent, very clear-cut steps here. Pistol round should be on their side.
Very methodical push forwards here. Yesterday with a chance, but most are going to shut that down. Just Baha remaining now. Swap out to a ghost.
That was kind of snappy. That was kind of snappy. Now, okay, so let's kind of talk about it, right? Because Mini was kind of alluding to a couple of different things. One, the application of Alpha, right? And how we want to see him maybe problem solve for them in this. Could he be a solution to maybe the new meta that they didn't seem quite ready for? I don't know how you
Come on, boys! Woo, woo!
For me, Alpha's not necessarily the key stakeholder here. For me, it falls to Kayak, it falls to Vekaj, and unfortunately, it falls to Boaster as well in terms of where they struggled. That's where I want to see notable improvement. Not even improvement, addressing the very obvious issues they had in terms of the game plan versus BBL. There was a number of rounds we were waiting to see an adjustment, an adaptation on Fnatic's part, and it just didn't come.
Yeah, and kind of rolling your minds back, I mean, it is fluffy. Don't get me wrong. I know this is a stretch too, but...
Well, yeah, call it knee-jerk reaction to week one, but it's because it was so concerning.
Yeah, exactly. And also, little fun fact, it's not that fun if you're a Fnatic fan, but Kickoff in, 2025, facing off against FUT, Abyss starting map, and they also lost that as well, and that was with Kron. So again, these two have quite an interesting little history. Obviously a bit of a different roster as well for FUT in this regard, but again, historically, I do want to see Fnatic kind of pick up, I guess, the slack, right? Like, again, if you're looking at someone like Vitality, who's now, in my eyes, deemed one of the heavier favorites in this scenario this year, at least to start with. Let's see how Fnatic kind of compare, I guess is the best way to put it. For FUT, though, they're no pushovers. They do have some real talent on this roster. They are in the right place, and that could not have been worse timing. However, fortunately, Crashy's there to find two and somewhat quell the building threat.
I was going to say, Fnatic had been very cautious here. First half of this round.
20 seconds, but...
A little bit of a gap. I mean, Mr. Fallen still looking to anchor towards A. Not sure who was spotting on the other side of this, but I feel like the plant can be denied here. Might only get one or two chances at it now.
Last player standing.
Get across here, Baha shut down by Kayak. Spike will go down. Mr. Fallen now, classic in hand, 1v3.
Right here.
Get one more, that's pretty good going. Does get to slip behind as Alpha is down, that's information for later on. Couldn't quite get the shot. So for Fnatic, 3 standing, 3 rifles through, ticking the box, right? All good so far, no big threats, and actually a quiet beginning from FUT. A couple of players popping off, but nothing to really damage economy or build any massive ults early. Cash for himself isn't too far away for the Fnatic side, obviously, but for FUT, we do have just Baha really
come on,
about
boys!
halfway through. So simple stuff so far, but the tension now gets drawn. We have rifles out for both sides. Decent purchase back in for Fnatic 2 here.
And the concern really does go towards maybe the early round, the default here for Fnatic once we get into the buy rounds, whether or not there will be an operator present for FUT. All the main obstacles we're looking for them to overcome.
Well, we were just discussing how worrying it is that I felt that was something that affected them in the NRG game last year, end of the year, how they couldn't quite problem solve it, but now looking like we're getting close to this site hit. At least with the Owl drone invested, Baha doesn't quite evade it, but tries to swing early. I didn't mind the intention, but it did feel like an unfair 1v1 almost as Kayak reigning supreme on the site here. Yes, Jay, does he get any safety to play into? He does, he's got a... Oh my god, all right, Kayak, just bulldozer the site. Fair play, that looks like he's kind of got a bow on this round. Stalled out on the plant, Mike, but they'll have another go at this.
Good chip damage, but the flash up is perfect here. Traded out by Zeus.
Spike planted.
Does leave just 2 standing now for FUT. Still healthy, but 4 alive for Fnatic in this post plant. Maybe to reset.
Here.
Most obviously very disconnected here. Looking to play late on this. Actually looking to go around the world. Could be another kill to come through. Well, he's found one.
Now,
It'll be difficult to get a half on here.
yeah, Boaster's still around, should be able to buy time, which he's doing, right? Utility coming through on that
Last player
Astra,
standing.
and still great positioning too, just on that push-up. And Rossley clean with it, but round pretty much cooked here. So for Fnatic, they'll be happy as Larry 3 back-to-back converting bonus. It was well invested, but still.
But the sort of round we're looking for, so just some comfort in what Fnatic display, right? It's a set plan in place, no kind of variables or curveballs being, you know, running away with themselves. The only issue really being here, FUT's inability to kind of dissect Fnatic here at the choke point. Again, Kayak a little ahead of the curve, but he delivers.
Well, that's the mad part. There wasn't much util to set him into play, really. He'd got himself on the site. He got a fair fight kind of on the swing coming through, and then backside as well. So as 2 individual 1v1s, he just wins, right? And if that's the X factor they now have, amazing. That's brilliant. I'd like to see what it looks like down the line, if there's some more evolution on this, a little bit more kind of comfort for him to play into. Back and forth we go. I do wonder how this looks as we develop into this game. See, Fnatic previously showed quite a tendency towards one of the sites compared to the other, but the flash shouldn't affect Boaster on the site, tucked in on the corner. And cleans up. This is good. This is very good until then. Now, getting a little bit worrying.
Yeah, Alpha tagged up. Still 3 alive here for Fnatic. Baha on a long flank.
Oh, he's got good
And he
timing.
finds him.
Standing.
Oh, man, I thought he had the timing on
Spike
that.
planted.
Chipping Alpha down to 11, but Mr. Fallen in a 1v3. Yeah, Alpha vulnerable, but the other 2 sitting very safe on the site. Full HP, full shield. Playing right shoulder to shoulder.
Pick up this sight line, won't spot the cross, obviously, so maybe a free
I love
from
that.
Fallen.
Shock dart, hoping it'd be Alpha who catches, but no. Ooh, nice try from Mr. Fallen, right idea. Better shot from Crashies. 4-0, Fnatic looking cool and calm.
Trading out really effectively here in the Santiago. Obviously the heavier stack here for FUT. No surprise to see an early timeout here, considering. And the second buy round for FUT's going to be crucial in terms of doing some damage. Obviously stripping away this cushion that's already built up. I am seeing Zeus pick up an operator.
I like to see it. I
Yeah.
know that Zeus may not be the kind of main character when he picks up the op. That's not been something we love in his hands necessarily, but...
Yeah, within this roster, actually, then the focus goes towards Crosstallia and Mr. Fallen, to be honest, to really set that up.
Yep. I'm not against it, though. I guess theoretically, just applying it against Fnatic isn't a bad idea. But even here, though, I'm kind of looking at it and rolling my mind back. They haven't had much issue getting on sites. Again, you look at how Kayak got on towards A site. He had no real resistance taking those 1v1s back site, able to divide and conquer. If there's an op in the way, could be kind of nice to see how they want to problem solve that.
There is a major switch up here, and ultimately eyes go back towards Fnatic, knowing that this purchase is a possibility and have ultimates to work with here as well, so certainly a chance to cement their financial cushion right now, because it's looking very healthy behind this. Even Alpha actually not too far away from his ultimate as well. So it's a tall order here for FUT. There'll be 5 unanswered here. Fnatic are able to continue to convert, and actually switch up here from Fnatic. A little bit of focus shift towards mid.
Yeah, haven't seen that look yet from them, right? It was very site-centric, so Alpha similar wall to before. That was noted, I think, from Mr. Fallen.
Kind of implies a late B pivot, which FUT currently 3 members positioned and waiting for somebody to slip the net.
Look how deep those trips are as well. Super committed over towards A main. I guess it's allowing this freedom to sit deep on the A site, but the second they're broken...
I mean, it's the possibility of the null command coming on. They want to make sure that they still have a chance at least to find something on the way in, but certainly nobody in position for it.
Go, info, but is there commitment? Because again, keep in mind, they might just be posturing on this, and no, it is going to be the goer, and you're right, Boaster a mile away disconnected.
Going around the world once more, so we'll have a ton of space to play into. FUT now going to stack up this retake.
And I like that, though, because maybe a good read into how FUT like to play those retakes on these side hits. It gives Boaster a lot of play here, because they're sitting super deep. It'll be a slow play back in, playing full retake on the site, and hard to make that operator work. Already been switched out. Zeus back to the rifle, operator with Mr. Fallen, and Fnatic looking for that nice crossfire backside. Push and pull, but the breakthrough comes in until they meet Kayak. Finally, he falls, the flanks on the way. That's going to be in the back of your mind, but maybe they don't need it. As Crash Cheese takes away Crosstallia, and now you're down to just Baha. Brilliant on the site, though. And now there's a problem. Does he know about Boaster? Stall on the site, though, couldn't get half. And Baha being put through his paces. A brutal scenario, a great shock dart, and surely the punchline of Boaster at the end. Fnatic with a very well-crafted round.
And the real nail in the coffin here is noting that all the typing utility there. So Boaster knows he has no obstacles to overcome. Well, looks like FUT are maybe going to win out in terms of these first kills back onto site, but... These were noises.
Sounds like us on Discord.
No comment. Chico back on the cards here for FUT. Scanning ahead.
Why have you done that?
Kayak on the hunt once more, though. Already showing he's feeling a little more comfortable today.
Kayak's been an incredible addition to this roster. Amongst all the losses that they've had in certain X-Factor players, I think that was a big conversation, even losing someone like Kron is what he can bring to a round and how much impact he can have, but credit where it's due, Kayak has been an absolute marvel in this. And even beyond that, you've got to still give credit over to Crash. He's had a fantastic year. Picked up well, even in that first game where obviously it wasn't the ideal result, still putting up great numbers. And it's just kind of who then joins. Do we get to see that kind of unlocking of Alpha throughout the year? Does that become another string to the bow? Do we see Vekash find his footing? He was a great highlight in that first series, actually, for me. He looked great, because I was a little bit worried, obviously, off-season, you take it with a pinch of salt, but he came out looking fantastic in that first real go of things. But I don't like what they're seeing here, and look, we know they're happy to play it late. They're happy to work that timer to the last drop.
Well, they're certainly going to have
30 seconds left.
Found themselves an advantageous site hit here. It's only one member of FUT to hold down the fort. Rotation coming through, but it's going to be a million miles behind this. Maybe looking to slip into this smoke.
He's going to try and do what he can, right? But already threatened away, and this is part of that executing late. You have to be exceptionally diligent on all of the util on the site take. You have to be so aware someone could be disruptive, and they are. So none of those threats come through. A nice presence towards middle for Alpha. Good farming opportunity. Ult's still there for him, so he's got that in the pocket for the coming rounds. And it looks like we're going to be continuing this pretty much flawless run so far, looking like 6-0 will be etched on the scoreboard. As Yetajay, last one to face the music here. Can he locate Alpha?
Yeah, Alpha's just, I was going to say fairly confident of the possibility, but we'll lose the rifle. Yetajay, though, certainly not in a position to cause any further issues for Fnatic. Again, money's already there, comfortable for Fnatic here. Like, really interested in giving away another exit anywhere else. So 6 unanswered rounds now. I believe actually versus BBL map 1, it was 7 unanswered initially on Breeze. And whether or not how much you attribute to kind of complacency in that first series kind of takes away the credit from BBL. They do deserve for obviously turning that around.
This
but
is a nice spot. That goes there.
It certainly look as if they are way more in control now of the game.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
And look, you'd rather have Fnatic have a wake-up call early, wouldn't they? Right, just have that wake-up call in those opening games. That we can't be lazy about this. We can't be coming in, you know, lazy is probably the wrong word for it, but that lack of focus, that lack of kind of killer instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's look, we all know how far they went last year. Obviously, that final hurdle is always going to be a sore spot, but regardless, they got there, even with people doubting a lot of the steps on the way, and rightly so. It wasn't the cleanest of runs, but still, they've come back in. They've had a bit of a fumble on the word go. They didn't make it past the first hurdle, but now it's time to pick back up. A little bit of a reminder of what this team is capable of. And even with all the roster changes, the core structure should remain. And for FUT, it's time to try and get back on the board here. Can Zeus be in the right place? Sadly for now, playing on obviously the weaker side of the map here. He might not get the initial start he wanted. The owl drone going to clear what they feel is deep enough, but look how far back Fnatic was sitting.
Very cautious here.
Oof.
He's able to avoid that, so presence unnoticed just yet. The timing of this contact coming through towards A could be disastrous here for FUT. And leave Baha alone once more.
30 seconds left.
See, now he's relaying this information desperately, but going to be caught up here.
He's going through it. Trying to stick around on site, but we saw that ult in the hands of Alpha before Boaster invested his. It's played with, but the flash is fantastic. Crossly the one to work off his own pretty much at that point, but they've done really well, taking away that frontline defense almost, and putting the rest in their paces. Vakash could have been caught there. You saw that second of consideration to swing on it, but no. Plant in play, late flank en route as well, and then the ult comes down from Yetajay. Information is coming, and Yetajay gets a double. It is danger for Crashies. No dart to play on, has his ult, but this ain't the time for it. Zeus wants him dead. Mr. Falling the one to find it, but FUT finally on the board, 5 alive.
Just a second either way for Fnatic would have given them a much cleaner plant here. A chance to maybe rely on the Hunter's Fury, which it looks like is the game plan in that post plant. So maximum credit to FUT here. And Baha playing this perfectly. This flash is just sublime.
Ah, it's lovely.
From Grostely. Again, already rotating towards A. You see him darting all the way back through spawn, but nice! Able to pivot back and bail Baha out.
And bless, I mean, the way these rounds have gone, you look at Baha, you think, man, he's in the trenches. Every time if they're doing those like little fakes, he's left solo on those sites with maybe just a pistol, or obviously the ult coming out from Alpha, and then he's down there just like, Christ, I'm just going to try and hold on as long as I can. But Fnatic, I'm just trying to pick back up, but Zeus right up the
I was
rip.
going to say in the background there.
He's turned nice, yeah. I'm trying to bait him in, but we know that Fnatic's tempo can be really hard to handle.
Actually, a bit of a pace shift here.
Tagged.
Form of Kayak. Looking to maybe come and deal with some of this utility. But kept at bay for the time being. And still, 2 players conscious that Zeus is posted deep now. I'm not sure if anyone's close enough to catch the audio cue or even saw Zeus there. It was in the X-ray that we caught it, but again, a situation that Fnatic really struggled with previously.
No one can really help with this owl drone, so a little bit frustrating for Zeus, but I guess it burned some of the util early. Yeah, he's going to respect it and fall off that first angle. I need to go for a second. He does get caught by the recon bolt in the end, so good slow, nice hinder. Just denying a little bit of that springboard forward. Does anyone get connected to on this? Kayak's looking. Oh,
Zeus plucks him out of the air.
You love to see that,
Spike
Zeus.
planted.
Nice impact early there. Taking away Kayak, who's been really good at even holding those flood retakes. He was instrumental before.
Full 5-man here. 4th foot on the way back in. Fnatic have given up a lot of space towards the front of site here. How quick can FUT figure that out?
That knife feels like it might be a little bit of an indicator, but they've got to get going. There's post-plant util. You can see it lined up.
Shock
Crash is
darts
still...
as well, yeah.
Yeah, they've got bits to work with, but the Hunter's Fury, if it goes down that far, could have been an issue. Just clearing some corners here, but FUT look a little bit hesitant to handle this. They got to get going. And oh, dearie me, there's that post-plant util. Does make it towards halfway, but down to just one. Mr. Fallen can get anything done here. Tries to dodge, he can't evade it. Boaster finds the final one, and Fnatic continue on their warpath.
Everyone will fall, but money should still be there for Fnatic. Again, in terms of the post plan here, a little return to...
Nice.
Crispier on the other side as well from Zeus, but return to what is a historical comfort zone for Fnatic. It's very rehearsed and coordinated util setups.
I died!
To make sure they get this one across the line, will force another timeout from FUT, both burnt up here for round 9.
Yeah, I do want to kind of talk about something there, how choreographed that post-plant felt, even losing Kayak. Sat there, nice layers for the spike diffuse, if anyone, tapped on towards it. It feels like Fnatic have...
Well, historically, again, that's something that they absolutely love to do, right? Send, well, back in the day, it would be Durka way forwards and then be able to really rely on some of the strength of util. Again, because they haven't burnt anything up, right? It's the Blade Storm popped and Kayak's able to create enough pressure that both Mr. Fallen and Zeus are all the way back in spawn. Yeah. At that point, I think it was creating an advantage with 5 alive. Like I said, Fnatic banking on such a... Whether or not that's a quick pivot or, like I said, the game plan from the get-go. But perfectly executed. Yeah. And one of the things, like I said, when you want Fnatic to return to basics, it's these sort of comfortable rounds where it's almost like FUT can't do anything there. They back them into a corner, force them to overstep and maybe make a desperate play. Fnatic will greet that with a smile.
It's going to get to desperation times for FUT. Yeah, as I said, double timeout, not too surprising considering the scoreline. But they need to find a solution. And it feels like aggression's name of the game. Now, Fnatic holds default. I think he's seen that.
I think he's seen minimap, yeah.
He's absolutely seen something, but I think they saw it too. Sharp, clean, quick work from Boaster, calling in the cavalry, but does he need it? He does now, but the trade comes in as well. They could springboard into B if they fancy it. They could take that as the green light to go.
The adjustment, instantaneous for Yesterday now, going to be revealed at least with the knife, but no confirmation on his whereabouts. Well, again, doing very well to spot that out. Vekaj to seal the deal. Alpha now still lurking in mid. Going to play in the cut here. But Baha in the back lines found crashes.
Okay. Can you get me one more and then I'm fully paying attention? Ah, yeah, just fizzles away. These post plants, very impressive from Fnatic. They look very in control here, understanding all of the pressure points and coming out on top cleanly. 8-1. This doesn't feel like there's much back here.
Fortunate crossfully, and Zeus are unable to pin that down a little earlier on. You can see the awareness here.
One enemy
Yesterday's whereabouts, but
A.
yeah, Fnatic starting to coast a little in some of these situations.
It's just a team effort too. No one's slacking, no one's not pulling their weight in this. It's not top heavy, it's not just a kayak show. Everyone is finding
Aggression,
really good.
Yeah, once more here to start this round, Lauren.
Yeah, and in this, why not? You got to throw something at the wall and hope it sticks. Alpha, yay! There's a cacophony of noise, yeah. Little jump scare behind him, but he's made it out and around, and they have no idea. Hello, oh dear. Well,
Mr. Fallen's got a kill as well.
That's probably not how you expected that to go.
Spike planted.
And we've been complimenting how well-rounded they've been at catching all those potential threats. This time, someone slipped the net. The backline threatened, eyes have to turn. Vekaj once again called upon. Should have heard some of these steps here, I'm pretty sure. Isolates one, but they've already slipped ahead here. I don't know if he knows there's going to be two. Yeah, they've certainly not relayed that there's a chance of it. 2v2, unrecoverable weapons, but Zeus wants in, and he gets in. Vekash with nothing to say about it. Crashies has to clutch up on the side here. They've got upgrades, they've got rifles, but no armor, no sustain in this. Crashies trying to do his due diligence. Good chip damage on it. They got to handle him, and they have. FUT getting underneath the skin, getting on the nerves, getting away with it in time.
Second on the board, really heads up play from FUT to continue here, to apply pressure in the early round, try and catch somebody off guard, and then just playing the trades really well. Or just drifting ahead of the smoke. That's where we saw that important kill in the kill feed, but Zeus does so well. Catches an upgrade and makes Fnatic pay. Will force a timeout immediately here, probably just to take a breather. And not necessarily many concerns here throughout the first half for them.
You'd imagine they've got the scoreline they're happy with, but at this point, a lot of us are looking at Fnatic to kind of change our minds back to where they are, so you'd want to see absolute lock-in from them. And for FUT, I think the solution was fairly simple in the fact that they want to get aggressive. It's easier to do when you have just those sheriffs. It's easier to take that risk and gamble. You might catch someone off guard. And you could argue that maybe just catching Alpha on that back pedal was a little bit lucky in a way, and then it all compounded off the back of that. But I love the killer instinct. They had to follow that sort of thread and continue down that line. And again, just catching Boaster, unaware of that potential. You know, it all fell in the right sort of place for them. Now, can they do it in a buy round? Because we have a couple of ults here. Vekash has his, one away from Boasters. Crashies is ready to go. On the other side, they've still got Baha's and one of them Zeus's, but they need that opportunity.
This goes here. Yes, this should do.
Switch up again for Yetijay's
Goes there.
util here. Probably just going to play off-site in anticipation. Being suppressed here, and again, actually Fnatic going to stack up towards mid, so this time FUT are on the other side of the grid here.
Okay, Zeus certainly getting involved. And I quite like that they've inserted Yetijay off the back of all that attention coming in from Zeus. That's a nice new look there.
Yeah, difficult to really clear him from that spot now, with Zeus picking up a deeper angle. And it's certainly there, but no command pop towards A here this time.
Oh, that flash was just in his face. Baha, brilliant! From backside! Holds it down this time. He'd been at the mercy of Fnatic on the other side. Here, takes a stand. Don't take any more names though. Kesh down on the knees, can't be recovered yet. Confirmed in the end. Brutal scenario, and Baha wants more space. He's going forward, but the back line gets broken, the flank denied, and with 50 seconds, that's plenty of time for Fnatic.
Certainly is. FUT haven't sent anybody out elsewhere. I think Fnatic probably still conscious of that mid-pressure early on, or mid-presence that was shown. But hopefully going to find themselves a clean plant here on B.
30 seconds left.
Boaster should get ult off this. Alpha once more will drift into mid, looking to potentially cut somebody off in rotation. FUT leaving this right down to the wire.
10 seconds left.
Now the penny will drop.
Spike planted.
That does give Boaster the ult as well. Alpha on the ult, playing a deeper line. What does FUT have to re-clear this space? Knife and a flash with cross delete. Beyond that, it's kind of the guns in hand. Do have Baha's ult, but they need to get past this first wave. Actually, it's Alpha slipping away from this, and Boaster somewhat taking over that kind of corner from heaven. That's the audio cue they're waiting on. Swing, spot, that's one of those ults down. That's Baha's gone. Now it's going to be cross delete trying to work it back through, but the crossfire is maintained. Just Zeus alive, but a danger and a threat, and a missed shot opens up a chance, but it ain't much. Alpha and Boaster, shoulder to shoulder on that, making it work.
Beautiful push and pull between them. In Boaster, the stars are aligned to catch a freebie there with Baha in astral form, but very well navigated by Fnatic, where it looks like almost a done deal that FUT can close this out. Not sending somebody out to...
Nice flash as well, you full blinded him.
maybe catch somebody drifting I said, it was Alpha once more up mid.
He's staying on the op. He's feeling himself. Aggression. I mean, we've seen it before. I think Crashies notes it.
I mean,
Very deep dart,
now,
yeah. Look how quick Kayak is straight through. He could live up here for a second and slow it down, maybe if they want to look toward that back line.
I mean, great response considering a slight misread in the previous round. Actually now, Kayak takes this space in mid.
God damn, that was quick from Alpha. You like to see that. Mr. Fallen gets punished trying to maintain that space, isolated on his own. And Baja's going for it. It feels desperate. Feel a little bit too individual. There wasn't a plan in mind. Cross to leave. Well, now you ain't got your gun, mate. This is rotten for him. Yeah, bye-bye. Fnatic just bulldozering towards site, taking no prisoners, really. And it felt like FUT were just trying to make something happen for themselves.
Zeus and Yetajay left in a 2v5 now. Not much hope for them to do damage in this situation. Feel like it might be 10 on the board here for Fnatic. Alpha still on the hunt here with the operator. Catch the first, potentially. No, Zeus shuts it down, but Kayak will find the response.
Yeah. Oh! Alright, that's kind of clean. That's kind of clean. Yeah, you're allowed to have a little grin on that one. Fair play, Mike. It's 10-2. There's not much to really report in this one. There were glimmers of hope from FUT, but it felt just fleeting. And we have to go through it. That second half will be beckoning in just a moment's time.
Your body knows. A sense of victory. Seized when mind, movement, and gear ignite as one. Now, step into your zone. Designed to win.
As we said, it was a commanding start for Fnatic, and it didn't really stop, Mike. They're sitting at 10-2. They've got to be happy with this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what I was kind of hoping to see from Fnatic, taking minimal risks, at some dicey calls in terms of trying to sell fakes and whatnot, but other than that, Fnatic rarely missing a beat in that first half.
Yeah, and it feels like going back to what's worked for them, I want to say historically, but just kind of stylistically, right? Those lovely post plants, really good understanding of tempo to the rounds, and for not being able to make the operator really sing. Yes, there was a great shot on towards Kayak at one point, but beyond that, it was just kind of as you'd expect. For me, however, Baja has been a real class standout. I've liked his work. It wasn't quite on my radar to the extent that Zeus was, for example, but he has stood out to me here, even with just, what, 2 rounds to their name? So we wait and see. Kayak, once again, things started with a bang, walking middle. There is a player on the other side, the man just spoken of, Baja. I guess the timing, really, of Yetajay's cross.
That's so quick there.
How does he come out the one sitting on 100 from that? Baja had the drop first. Madness.
It's the early intention here shown by Kayak, but able to slip away. Kayak going to apply some sort of support here, and FUT going to have some issues here at the choke point, but able to transition through.
Look at that double stack towards heaven. That's the danger in my eyes, but it's actually Kayak to swing back in with his body on the line. Trading in well. Bekaj, it's laboured, but Sig gets across it. 11-2. Looks like they've got something to do tonight.
Yeah, certainly got dinner plans. Very difficult now for FUT to make a decision, potentially here to force in. Even just here, another step or two backwards until Fnatic have, what, 3 or 4 sets of eyes now towards the choke. But where it already looked dicey. This is what I mean, not taking risks. Nobody really looking to do damage on the way in, that they're happy to just allow FUT to walk into these sight lines.
Yeah, it feels almost formulaic at that point, right? They know what they need to do. They're playing very percentage Valorant, but FUT, they've decided to suffer through this one, going for OT. Standing ahead.
Get some information, but necessarily comfortable here with the classics. Basically walking into the blender once more. Kayak, two beautiful kills.
Oh, go on. That's nice to see. It's nice to see an in-zone flawless there. Putting Fnatic up to 12 and FUT still held on just that 2. So really, just one last stand for them to make.
So quick on the follow-up here. Just on the edge of the scope as well.
Yep. Up and over. Gosh. Oof.
Goes without saying, again, one of the highlights of the region, not just globally, but Kayak just looking to, I guess, set that tone once more this year. Obviously our MVP. See what the plan here for FUT is. Again, Kayak tasked with holding down the fort in mid. Even just enough of a deterrent here to deal with some of the utility that FUT are immediately sacking outside A once more. Crashes. Didn't look like he knew he was getting shot at there.
Might have been just going through the motions, mini-map up. Sort of having a look that way. Zeus trying to break that front line. The reflood from Fnatic to kind of fight back in. Turn on the flash! Fantastic from Crossley. Can't quite double, triple down, should I say. And it leaves Kayak alive. Who's on for a third, can't quite make it. Boaster on the trade. 2v2 and the plant not quite in. Mr. Fallen and Zeus. A lot of pressure to play up against, and these two clutched out before. Alpha and Boaster made it work on their attacking side. Trying to bait the barrel. But it doesn't work out. Come on now. Alpha. Ooh, not good enough on that first contact. Yeah, this should be an extension of play at bare minimum. FUT should be holding the angle now. Maybe high-low setup, working together. I think Alpha knows this one is pretty much unwinnable and decides to bow out of the race.
So the buy is still there for Fnatic to follow this. Only 2 rifles, and Mr. Fallen going to be forced to purchase a shield as well. At least here, we'll extend by 1 round to prevent Corrode being very quickly on the cards here. So I'm fairly certain even full shields are going to be there for Fnatic. Crossley just does so well to turn this and still double down on.
Nice! Let's go!
Still some energy for FUT.
Yep.
Certainly not giving up just yet. Kayak's actually on the brainstorm. He's even hedging his bets here towards an operator to follow, if required.
Let's see if we get that far, shall we?
FUT looking now to sell the fake effectively. Stacking up here in the previous 2 rounds. Spot on 1. Fnatic interested for the time being. Crashies, no confirmation in mid.
Rotating instantly though, they're pulling Kayak off of A. Maybe just because they didn't see anything on that Aldrone either, and now they're getting contact with that B side. It's the right call. Enough store here to keep them kind of at the door. No, Zeus already further forward. Alpha gonna go check on the site, and then he gets caught off guard. Lucky to be living, and Alpha trying to find a corner to play from. Up and over the top, completely unawares. Spins on a dime with Boaster. And Fnatic eyeing up that 13th. They want this done, but Crossley, these flashes, man, have been sharp. They've been good. Kayak prowling, almost. Look, when they turn around, it's even harder, okay? 3v2, it's fine.
Baha's hurt though. Yeah, Vekad's still here.
1 enemy remaining.
That's nasty. That's nasty. That feels like nail in coffin.
Mr. Fallen now on a 1v3. It's the most awkward choke point across now, considering FUT's success
30
in these
seconds
previous
left.
rounds.
But could you imagine?
I mean, it would be a hell of a 1v3.
Yeah. I mean, he's only got 5 kills so far as well. It's not been a big series for him, but he wants the first. See if he can get it. Nah, not gonna happen. Vekash all too aware, and as were Fnatic. 13-3, absolutely crushing the opposition. FUT didn't really have much of a say here, Mike. This has been one-sided from start to end, and this was FUT's choice. However, coming up next will be Grode and obviously Desk. We want to hear their thoughts after this.
Been a bad boy. Becky, I can't stand like this forever.
Yeah.
Hello, this is nicht gut.
Comfortable.
Ah! Surrender.
I'm out.